Hey everybody, Andrew McFadyen-Ketchum here on a lovely Friday afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee on day 18 of reading my second collection of poetry, Visiting Hours, which came out on March 12th. I'm on day 18 of reading you a poem every day. It's been more like every other day or every 1.5 days. But you know how it goes. Even in these times where we're at home most of the day and working from home, it's hard to do something every single day. But I've really been enjoying it. The book came out on March 12th, so a little bit over a month ago, and due to coronavirus, I had to cancel all my events and such. So here I am sharing it to you this way. So this is the second poem of the third section. There are 3 sections in the book. It's called Far from the Fields Turned Crystalline by Winter. And if you like this poem, you can pick up the book. Just click on the little link, and I'll wash my hands and sign it for you, and put a moon button in there, and send it off as soon as I can. Okay, without further ado, this is Far from the Fields Turned Crystalline by Winter. Far from the fields turned crystalline by winter, far from Februaries that mean all but the Tennessee cedars and lob lollies stripped down to their frail cores, the dead keep flying. In the eerie half-light and chill of my first winter in Los Angeles, the dead remain disfigured, the Pacific's lukewarm lilt so alien to the frozen ponds and frostland creeks I've left behind. This great grid of smokestacks and accosted dreams tossed like a seine net from my apartment window, my reflection its own sentient being in the glass. Still, though I look, no sign of Mary in this fragile network of asphalt and waterworks and desert, west of the salt flats, just east of the sea itself. No sign in the San Gabriel cycle of burn and snowcap, and burn. In the dark's brittle tincture, in the 12-story shadow cast by my apartment building, on the 10th anniversary of Mary's death, Mary is nowhere to be found. Her name in Latin means a star of the sea, the wished-for child. Its root in Hebrew means bitterness and rebellion. Mary, the girl who had a way with flightless things. Skipping stones worked their way into her pockets. Box turtles dropped from their logs in the sun, and dog paddled ashore. Once, she bought a treasure trove of keys from an antiquarian at the county fairgrounds and kept them at all times on a ring to test locked doors we did not know. The first time it worked, we were in a museum of natural history. The door we secreted opened onto row after row of animal parts afloat in the glow of chemical solutions. A raccoon's paw bobbing in formaldehyde, a rhesus monkey brain coiled in saline buffers and magnesium chloride. The second time, she balanced a bra's doorknob on an anthill, slipped a key into its tumblers, and a light burst forth from a crack in the earth. Mary, the girl known for the most simple of ingenious designs. The language of hand signals and flags we used from treehouse to treehouse in my backyard. A whistle from a stalk of grass. Her bird trap, nothing more than a cardboard box propped open with a stick. That box beat from within like a fussy child on a changing table as Mary wrapped it in butcher paper and twine. And I doubt she'll ever forget her disappointment when we presented our gift of captured flight to the bag lady who lived in the alley behind my house. How she failed to transform like the myths we read to one another by nightlight from our book of myths. That old lady no more than an old lady. Our book of myths, a book of myths. Mary knows I've left behind the city of our births. She can smell the singe and cost of manifest destiny. She has watched the sun's sodium ray ascend the San Gabriels like the inverse of ink on cotton. Still, no matter how early I wake, daylight fractures into countless renderings of itself across the Pacific, and all I see of her is in nightmare. Every night, the phones rattle at 3 a.m., my sister on the other end with the terrible news. Every night, snow dropping in perfect white verticals to make a barcode of my window in Virginia. Every night, the word suicide made real, this lump in my throat, this image of the girl I so loved falling from the sky. So I say her name aloud in public places. Mary, on my daily walk into the enormity of the city, drifting crowd to crowd, always further from home than the day before, where I buy my breakfast from a street vendor and squat on the curb in the hopes she'll materialize from the scuff of work boots and petroleum. Mary traveling north on the subterranean corridors of the Blue Line, the pale cup of her face unblinking in breakaway glass. Mary beneath my breath in a sold-out theater, the stage with its trapdoors, the players in their slack-jawed masks. Sometimes I try rebellion as I slip my bus fare into its slot. Sometimes I plead sorrow, indignation, wished-for child, as I wander the portraits and landscapes in the gallery. Back home, I could find her in Forsythia's first blooms, could draw her face in salt spilled on the bar of my favorite watering hole. Back home, I could take myself to the shortcut she fashioned from 3 underpasses, a handful of alleys, and the parking lot of the nursing home on Broadway and 5th, and find her waiting for me in her front yard. Here, when I write Mary's name in the dust of my bedroom window, she takes a step back. Here, with each day that passes, the distance between us swells. Maybe it's not the dead who linger, but the living they leave behind. These ghosts of who we once were, scouring the creek beds and ditches and the darkling fields on the other side of the road as we seek out the past, remnant and fragmentary, lost and found and lost again. So I make my appeal to this city of angels and personal demons. So I give voice to my desires in this hour of neon and streetwalkers. So I say, rise. So I say, return. And I wait. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and are doing well.